Absolute Wonder Woman escaped the maze, found an Amazon, and is now back at the Hyron. She has used many magics in her journey, but what is the price of this magic? And who will pay it? Finally, Diana has a moment of peace. Safe inside the Hyron in Gateway City, she leans over a tome while sitting across from Barbara Minerva, who points to a painting of the legendary Paradise Island. Obviously, this is a stylized interpretation of Themyscira. How do you imagine it? Barbara asks. Diana lets her fingers glide over the image of the Amazon's home. Finally, she shrugs. For me, it was ever-changing, she whispers. She looks up at Barbara and explains that the word Amazon was forbidden on the Wild Isle, and Cersei felt like teaching Diana anything to do with the history of Diana's people would be a trap. There were ears everywhere. When even a goddess like Hecate fears who is listening, you learn to be cautious. Cersei felt that Apollo only banning the word Amazon was a trap, so they said no words that would raise suspicion. But inside me, I had always known that I came from somewhere else, that I had lost something, she says, explaining that the idea of a home was ever shifting in her mind based on what she was studying. Barbara leans back in her chair and stares at the Amazon. The way you think is unique and beautiful. I wonder if that's due to who you are or how you were raised, Barbara questions. Diana doesn't understand the idea. Can such things be separated? She asks. Like I said, unique. But suddenly, their conversation is cut short as a voice begins to yell inside the Hyron. A news report echoes through the halls, warning of an attack in Reno, and Diana immediately jumps to her feet. Forgive me, Barbara. We'll have to continue this conversation later, Diana says as she runs through the Hyron at super speed. And once outside, she leaps into the night air. Barbara runs outside, finally catching up to see Diana disappear into the distance. Steve Trevor watches her go. What's happening? Barbara asks him. Steve shrugs. Diana asked me to hook the Hyron up to breaking international news reports so they would autoplay when they occur, he tells her. Barbara nods in understanding. Clever, assuming it doesn't drive her mad, she whispers. Shortly, Diana is flying over Reno, Nevada, but something is wrong. She can sense darkness as she approaches the destroyed casino. Outside, emergency services are helping survivors as television crews report the incident. Someone points up in the sky as the armored warrior flies by and lands in the destruction zone. It's Wonder Woman, they gasp. Diana lands inside the rubble, her gaze searched for what could have caused this destruction. Something catches her eye. A glint or a spark of energy. She moves forward cautiously, but something is wrong. She can feel the urge to fight coming over her. The urge to destroy. Diana stops as the strange spark of energy begins to take form, growing and casting the rubble-strewn corridor into strange shadows. The energy takes an almost human shape and lashes out at her. Diana, seemingly without thought, immediately draws her battle axe and swings at the creature. Strange. It's unlike me to reach for a weapon so quickly, Diana thinks to herself as she continues to swing at the being. Finally, she manages to calm herself and lowers the axe. Apologies. I did not mean to accelerate this situation. Can you understand me? She asks, holding up a hand in peace. The being reaches out and electricity courses through Diana's body. She cries out in pain as she struggles to remain standing, but her eyes begin to glow as she mutters the incantations of a spell, dissolving the energy within her body. The being cries out in pain or anger and lashes out again. Diana has no choice but to once more reach for her axe and toss it at her enemy. But the blade passes harmlessly through its body and falls to the floor. It screams at her. Waves of dark thoughts pulse through Diana's mind as she stumbles away. She wants nothing more than to flee or kill. But the building is unstable and collapses on her. It doesn't take long for her to pull herself from the rubble, but by the time she does, the energy has disappeared. Shortly, she returns to the Hyron to find Steve waiting for her. Quickly, she explains what she encountered. He nods, telling her that reports said that everyone at the scene suggested that a negative energy seemed to overtake them. Yes, I felt it too, Diana whispers. Steve begins to pull on his coat after their talk, explaining that he has been ordered to report back to base. Not sure what's up, but I'll check in when I can, he tells her. Diana heads deeper into the Hyron, where she finds Barbara, Etta, and Gia sitting by the fire and studying. Finally able to relax, Diana sits with a cup of tea and begins to study the Amazons with Barbara once more. Barbara shows her another book, the images depicting the Amazons battling a great sea monster. Part of the mystery is that ancient weapons and armor were found, as well as some appendages, but no complete skeletons, and not a single skull, Barbara says, explaining that some scholars believe this means either the Amazons never left their dead behind, or they couldn't be killed. The Amazons were immortal? Etta asks. Diana shrugs. Since I do not know my people or their history, I'm uncertain, Diana whispers as she continues to flip through the book. But the studying is interrupted by another blaring news report. Diana quickly pulls on her armor and leaps into the night once more. This time, she flies to La Paloma, Uruguay, where firefighters work hard to put out a blazing lighthouse. But Diana moves quickly and utters an incantation, calling water from the sky to put out the fires. The firefighters thank her and point her to the city, where another fire blazes. Diana flies through the air, feeling the dark energy overtaking her as she gets closer. She orders herself to resist using her weapons. Landing amongst the blaze, she is quickly attacked. Energy lashes out at her and knocks her away, sending her sailing back towards the beach. By the time Diana pulls herself from the sand, the being has left again. Once more, she returns to the Hyron, but the news blares again and again. The Dominican Republic, Mexico, and Hawaii. Diana arrives at each event, only for the being to attack and leave before Diana can get a hold of the situation. It offers nothing to her, no explanation for its actions. Diana returns to the Hyron once more, plopping into a seat and groaning in frustration. She can still feel the dark energy coursing through her. This is infuriating. It's bringing out the worst in me, she whispers. But her friends have been working. Tell her, Etta, Barbara says. Etta walks over with some books, explaining that they have worked out that the energy being seems to be attacking previous battle sites of the Amazons. Reno? Diana asks. Etta nods and holds up her phone, explaining that the casino that burned down was called Paradise Island, another name for Themyscira. Diana's eyes widen in shock. Etta, this is brilliant, Diana whispers, asking her friends if they could work out where the being would attack next. Etta claps her hands with glee and turns away. I'm gonna make a crime board, she calls to her sister. Meanwhile, Diana heads deeper into the Hyron's gardens while her friends begin to work. She can hear them chattering while she kneels before a tree and begins to pray. The girls watch her for a moment. What's Diana doing? Barbara whispers. Gia puts a hand on her shoulder. All magic has a price, Barbara, and the kind of magic Diana does, I suspect the price is quite heavy. It can be all kinds of things, she explains. Later, her friends call out to her. Diana steps into the main chamber to find a massive map on the floor with several locations pinned. Oh my, you have been busy, Diana notes as she stares at the map. Etta nods in triumph. So many battles, Diana, she says. Barbara clasps her hands. I'm gonna win a Pulitzer, she whispers. The three explain that it seems the being was originally attacking more remote sites, so no one was reporting it. Now, it's attacking the populated areas. But the conversation is once more interrupted by the blare of the news, reporting that there is an attack on the historic site in Delphi, Greece. Diana rushes out and flies off once more, finally arriving in Delphi to find the being waiting for her in the amphitheater. She can feel the dark energy beginning to overtake her and glares at the monster. Energy lashes out at her. "Let's end this quickly, shall we?" she snaps as she grabs hold of the lightning. But the energy whips around, tossing her away, slamming her through several trees and into the side of a nearby mountain. She struggles to her feet, but something tells her that she can't do it, that she should just give up. "Fool! It is the darkness that whispers in your ear," Diana hisses to herself. Suddenly, her eyes snap open as she remembers what Gia told Barbara back at the Hyron, that all magic has a price. Diana stands and draws her greatsword, her eyes hardened. She realizes that she is the cause, that this destructive creature is the price that the world is paying for her. The being stands before her, and its form begins to solidify, taking shape, and it becomes a dark mirror of Wonder Woman. And that was the complete story for issue 13 of Absolute Wonder Woman by Kelly Thompson. I'm really enjoying where this story is going so far. The price the world is paying is quite steep, and we'll just have to wait until next time to see how Diana deals with it. But what did you think about today's story? Let me know in the comments below. And like and subscribe to help us out in that YouTube algorithm. I'm Dan with Comicstorian, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.